Hello everyone, my name is Reggie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm really excited to be sharing with you my October wrap up. In the month of October I read 6 books, which is not bad, actually pretty good considering how busy I currently am. If you're new here, welcome. I post my wrap ups in the order from my least favorite book I read in the month to my favorite book I read in the month. I like doing it that way because it makes sure we end on a positive note, which I think is really important and fun. I'm actually pretty excited because the book I rated the lowest this month was still pretty good. And that is Invictus by Readin. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. This is a time traveling book that has a really tight-knit, really awesome friend group. I really enjoy the friends in this group, but for me, it was just kind of lackluster. Beyond that, I think the time travel aspect wasn't that unique. I think a lot of it was predictable. I think it tied up really nicely with a bow on top, which is not always my favorite kinds of endings. I really like stakes and impact in my endings, and this for me didn't have that. I thought it was really fun though. I definitely think if you love Readin's writing, you should definitely check this book out. However, if you're kind of like mediocre on it or had never heard of it before and it doesn't sound that great to you, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. It was a good time, but not the greatest. Next up, I have Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This was the group read for Spooktober this year, which was a lot of fun. This is about a teenage girl who is Wiccan and her best friend recently passed away, and they've told her it's a suicide, but she believes her best friend was murdered. So she tries to resurrect her friend, and instead of just resurrecting her friend, she resurrects quite a group of people. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them total, and so it's her dealing with that they're resurrected for like a week, trying to figure out who the murderer is, like dealing with ramifications of that. It was cute. It was actually way like more uplifting and heartwarming than I expected it to be. I thought it would be like dark and gritty, so I was a little disappointed that wasn't as dark and gritty as I wanted. I mean, I guess I could have probably gathered that from like how bright this cover is. There's a lot of girl hate and shaming and just not great things presented in this book, but like I said, it was fun, it was quick. That's pretty much all it has going for it though, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is a middle grade book about a young girl. Cassie basically had a near-death experience and now can see ghosts. She can walk through the veil between our and the ghost's world, and her best friend is currently a ghost. And at the beginning of this book, her parents, who are ghost hunters, get a TV show and they go to live in Scotland. And so this follows Cassie's adventures exploring ghosts and all that fun stuff in Scotland. It's a really quick read. It's really cute. I love the friendship and the main character is great. However, I think it was kind of slow and the pacing was like a little bit weird. It was really slow and then it all picked up at the end. I think that's pretty indicative of a lot of middle grade adventure stories. I think it could have been paced out a little bit better, but overall I had a lot of fun reading it. Again, the characters were really cute. It's a series, so I do plan on continuing on with this series, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Also, side note, my buddy read this with Alyssa from Pucks and Paperback, which was super fun. Next up is a book that I can't find, and I have it out from the library, so I have to be able to find it soon. Regardless, it is The Loneliest Girl. This is a book by Lauren James, and it's a young adult science fiction that is so good. I would even classify it as like a sci-fi thriller. It's super great. Definitely recommend it. I gave this like 4 out of 5 stars, and this follows our main character who is on a space voyage on her own. Basically, she was with her parents and they both passed away. She was actually born on the ship, so she's never experienced Earth or anything like that. At the beginning of this book, we find out that there is this ship that is coming to meet hers. Of course, there's like this big time delay because of the way things work in space, but someone is coming to meet her so that she's not alone anymore. And so she's really excited. However, she quickly discovers that things are maybe not as great as they seem, and the ship is maybe not as peaceful as she expects, and it is so good, so fun, so interesting. However, like I'm doing to you probably, this book was hyped up for me so much that I was hoping for a little bit more. I found the ending kind of predictable. I found our main character kind of lackluster, even though I really like bonded with her. I really enjoyed so much of it, but it just wasn't all the way there for me. I gave it a 4 stars. I will definitely be reading more from this author if she puts out more work, and I definitely think this is a book to recommend, especially if you enjoy science fiction or you enjoy the concept of being lonely and kind of isolating and exploring that concept, or if you like just like space adventures or sci-fi thrillers, because I don't know that there's necessarily that many of those. So definitely a good time. Enjoyed it. Next up, I have Toil and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women and Witchcraft. This is a YA anthology about women and witchcraft, and I loved this. I think this is the first anthology that I've read that I've considered buying. Like if this comes out, when this comes out in paperback, I may go out and purchase it because I really can see myself rereading a lot of these stories, especially in the fall. Just like any anthology, there were some stories that I did not like, some that I didn't care for, some that were just okay, some I loved. So I have a breakdown of what I thought of every story, what star rating I gave it, so you can check my Goodreads for that. I'll go through some of my favorites though. I gave 5 stars to The Truth About Queenie by Brandy Colbert, The One Who Stayed by Nova Rensuma, The Guerin Girls by Emily Lord, and Why They Watch Us Burn by Elizabeth May. Then I also gave quite a few 4.5 stars. But like I said, you can check out the Goodreads reviews to see what I broke down every story at. Last up, I have a talk about a reread, so it's going to be pretty brief because I've already reviewed this book and I read it because it's an adaptation and I reviewed the adaptation. So I've talked about this at length in the history of my channel and recently on my channel, so I don't want to waste your time talking about too much. But it's The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Reread it. Loved it just as much as I did the first time. 5 out of 5 stars. This time I listened to the audiobook. It's phenomenal. It won an award for a reason. It's a really good audiobook. Definitely recommend it. Overall, phenomenal experience. Phenomenal book. If you haven't read it yet, what are you doing with your life? It's a very emotional, beautiful book. Wonderful movie. I talked about it at length in a review, both the book and the movie, so I'll link those in the eye down below, stuff like that. But if you haven't read this yet, go read it. It's fantastic. So that's all for the books I read in the month of October. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!